Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's talk about Carly and Jax because, well, Carly actually kind of annoyed me today. This is right after Nell fell over the cliff, Jax get there, and then Carly starts crying. I'm just sitting there looking at the screen like, those tears? Like, are you crying over Nell? Same woman that terrorized. Okay, that annoyed me. And then Jax was like, listen, when the cops get here, we gotta like make sure our story is straight. Pretty much, Jax is just like, just don't tell the whole truth. Because, Carly and Nell has a history. And, Sonny being who he is, people would love to get at Sonny. They can't get at Sonny, they get at Carly. And it's not really that hard to actually prove or to insinuate that Carly has something to do with Nell's death. So he's sitting there giving all these different reasons, all these different explanations. And Carly the whole time's like, what? No, this isn't a good idea. Huh? Wait, you want me to lie? That was annoying. That was just annoying. It was one of those things where it's like, listen, I get it, Carly. Cover-ups never a good idea. But if the guy who generally doesn't like cover-ups and is all about truth and justice and all this other stuff, if he's telling you to lie. And it was literally I felt like I was watching that for like a good 15 minutes of him sitting there trying to explain to Carly why, lying is a good idea in this situation. And after a while, I just lost my damn patience, to be honest. So anyway, they get back to the house, and Valerie's there. And by the way, I just want to quickly talk about Valerie. Now, I wasn't watching GH for a little bit. I guess when Valerie and Dante had their whole thing. And this is when Valerie was relevant. And then Valerie just started to seep into the background and was just gone. She would pop up every now and then. So the actress that played her, I felt like she was just wasted. She was just wasted just being there. And I think she's on Y&R now. So then they got another person. And, I was just like, seriously? I was just like, oh, okay, sure, why not? I don't know, I felt like her whole character was wasted, and she was just only good in certain parts, so it's like, I feel like they either need to, like, make Valerie a more prominent character and give her something to do, or just have a plain officer come in there and just be the detective for the day, because I feel like her character is just wasted. Anyway, they get back to the house, and, even before they got to the house, they were in the woods, and Jax was like, yo, we gotta go, we can't be seen here. What? Huh? Jesus Christ, Carly. So anyway, they get back, and, Valerie starts asking some questions and stuff like that. Oh, when was the last time you seen Nell and stuff? And that's when Jax is just like, alright, moment of truth. And Carly is just sitting there looking and has the dumbest look on her face. Like, what should I do? Should I tell the truth? Or should I lie? Should I tell the truth? Or should I lie? The fact that she is even having a debate in her head about this, after 15 minutes of Jax sitting there explaining why this is a good idea, you should go with my plan, was just, So anyway, that's what that ends off at. Alexis and Sam. Alexis is the type of woman that I would never want to date. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. So, Sam pretty much catches, Alexis up to speed with everything that's going on. And she also talks about how she's upset with Jason. And to be fair, as much as Sam kind of annoys me from time to time, well, she has a point. About the whole, they can actually see each other now, and Jason is just being actually really odd, about it. And I'll talk about more of that at the end, but, like, just his whole, his whole reaction, he cared more about the shares than the fact that they got to actually be together, and more how, how she went about, getting that chance to actually be together. Like, he should have been more caring about, oh, we get to see each other? Oh, that's what's up. Not more like, oh, you made a deal with Valentine and you showed the shares? And I'm like, bro, you are missing the... Okay. So anyway, they talk about that for a little bit. Just more about how Jason's upset and the new parole officer. And then they talk about Neo. And this is the part where Alexis annoyed the hell out of me. So, Sam is pretty much just like, you sent him away? Like, he was here and you sent him away. Why did you send him away? Alexis' answer is, and I'm kind of paraphrasing this, well, I didn't want him to listen to me. You didn't want him to listen to you. You sent him away, but you didn't want him to listen to you. Now, Alexis is the type of, I'm like, very super feminine and, protect women's rights and this, that, and the third, and, not have a man, inserting himself in, have a man be respectful of her wishes. And this is the thing that annoyed me even further about her, is that she was not there talking more about that. She was like, a lot of the guys, they never listened to me, and, every time I told them to do something, they would do the exact opposite or whatever. And this guy actually listens to me. And I didn't want him to. Or something along the lines she said. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you... So, as I'm sitting there, I have my head down just like this. Neil comes over. And, Sam leaves. Well, Sam, first of all, she asked this inappropriate question like, what are you doing here? Alright, Sam, your time is up. You can go. You can just leave. Because I was actually liking you for a good minute. And then with that one line, you just reminded me of why I actually don't like you a lot of times. So, after she left, they talked. And, they do this back and forth, dodging around, avoiding the elephant in the room. And Neil was like, alright, so listen. Last time I asked if you want to be friends. Do you still feel that way? And then, Alexis gets that look on her face or whatever, and then the scene ends. So I'm just, at this point, I'm really hoping that Alexis makes up her damn mind. Listen, I'm not really, super invested in the couples and stuff like that. But I gotta be honest, I really would not be invested into those two, because I understand the idea of going back and forth, but it has to be something more reasonable than, no, I want you to leave. And then you leave like, well, I didn't want you to listen to me. That just gets annoying. And the whole back and forth thing just was like, will they, won't they? It just, like, come on, seriously? I don't know. I don't have the patience for that. I really don't. And that's pretty much where that ends. Another woman that I would not want to date ever, is Jordan. So, Jordan and Jason are talking, and Jason, this guy has the patience of a damn saint. Because Jason's like, yo, Tag is alive, what's up? You want to talk about that? You want to tell me what's going on? And Jordan, I am so trying not to curse. Jordan gets this nasty little rude ass attitude with him, And it's all like, oh, well, I don't have to sit there. I don't have to tell you anything, pretty much. Jason was like, oh, okay, cool. So I could have just been a good Samaritan and just called the cops, and, you just would have had to answer to them. And then Jordan has that stupid look on her face. You know, that stupid look on her face where she just feels she's just self-righteous, and it's just, I can just get an attitude with anyone because I'm me. That's the type of look that she had on her face. And, granted, Jason was actually playing kind of psychiatrist, and was like, I get it, you're upset, you're frustrated at the situation, you can't talk to Curtis, so you're taking out your anger on me. Fine. And then Jordan tries to make some sort of compliment or whatever to Jason, and I'm like, better him than me, because I gotta be honest with you, I don't give a damn about your title, I would have put you in your place. And Sonny would have also. But, they talk for a little bit, and, Jordan also talks about Taggart as far as, like, not letting Curtis knows. And, she's like, well, it's been so long that it's just too late, and I don't want to wreck my marriage. I'm like, I gotta be honest with you, you are wrecking your marriage all on your own, without the whole Taggart thing. Just about pushing Curtis away, keeping him in the dark about a lot of stuff. You're slowly doing that anyway. So, I mean, yeah, so anyway, they talk or whatever, and they talk about how, Jordan she still feels trapped. Hell, yeah, honestly, to tell you the truth, she didn't really actually have to say anything, because Jason practically said everything for her. It's like, listen, you're trapped, you're stuck, and the only thing you're sitting there doing is waiting until Cyrus gets careless. Why don't you, work with me or whatever? And of course, Jordan, gets on her high horse and gives him an attitude again. And towards the end, Jason's like, yo, you're gonna work with me at this point, And, Jordan is like, well, I thought you had problems working with law enforcement, for a while. And Jason actually was nice and was like, I'm not working with law enforcement, I'm working with you. And I gotta be honest, after the way she gave you an attitude like that, that was definitely not what I was actually going to sit there and say to her, but bro, you do you. So she said thank you, and that pretty much scene ended that. And the last thing I'm going to sit there and talk about is Jordan. No, that's not true. I said Jordan. Now let's talk about Dante real quick, because I don't understand what they're doing at this point with this whole. So pretty much Dante is just like, he's not trying to get better, he's just not trying to do anything. And the doctor's like, alright, so we're just going to send you home. And I'm like, whoa. So let me get this straight. This guy has PTSD from dealing with what he's dealing with, and their solution is to just send him home? Like, really? I honestly, to tell you the truth, that almost didn't seem like that made any sense. That actually seemed like reverse psychology, but I don't know. So anyway, the doctor pretty much says, they have an assignment for you, and it's going to be in Port Charles, and it's going to be somebody that's going to be close to you. And at first, Dante's like, no, I'm good. I did that once before. It didn't end well. AKA he got shot. But then after they talk a little bit, he gets this sudden change of heart. And I'm sitting there wondering, like, well, actually, I have a theory about that. So he changed his mind. He's like, you know what, let's not put in the work. I don't know if he's actually going to go to Port Charles and do the op or whatever. But they were just like, yo, listen, you're just going to ride here? Or, man, that was kind of double talk. Because at one point, he was like, they're going to send him home. And then the doctor was like, well, you got to do the work, or you're going to ride here. So I was like, are y'all sending him home? Or are y'all keeping him here? Like, I'm thinking about that now, and I'm like, that really didn't make any sense. Anyway, he pretty much was like, I'll do the work. I'm guessing that he's probably going to take the op. The reason why he's going to take the op, or whatever the job is because if he doesn't do it, they're going to find somebody else. And it's better for him to do it and him to have a sense of control of what's going on, as opposed to him being there and him not knowing what's going to go on. So, yeah. I really don't know. I'm assuming at this point, because it really was this back and forth thing, but I'm assuming at this point that Dante is going to go home and he's going to go undercover, and he's probably going to be a double agent because he's not going to probably screw over anyone that's in his family or friends or whatever. So I guess we'll wait and see. That pretty much ends that for Dante. And we get to the last part. You know, these things actually start to run really long. Portia and Curtis are just taking a trip through memory lane. That's it. And it's weird. Because Portia kind of tried to straighten some stuff up. And was like, well, you weren't the only, you weren't the reason why my marriage failed. It was because of me too. So they pretty much talk about the history, and Curtis apologized for the way he handled the situation as far as blowing up on her, and she apologized. She apologized for lying to him in the first place about not being married and stuff. So they kind of clear the air, and I'm not gonna lie. Throughout that whole conversation, the biggest takeaway I took from that was that Portia still has feelings for Curtis. And when Curtis left, Curtis was like, "Oh, just to let you know, I told Jordan about our other conversation." And I'm just like, is this just more? This is the second time that I feel like Curtis, in a lot of ways, is just covering his ass. It was more for when he was talking about Jordan, talking about the conversation that they had with Portia. But I feel like this is just another way of Curtis just kind of, covering his own ass. And they bring Wiley back home. And, they bring Wiley back. Well, Sonny and Michael bring Wiley back home, and Willow hears them over the baby monitor, and then she rushes upstairs, and that pretty much ends the scene. Listen, everyone, if you get used to them talking to stuffed animals and inanimate objects, because they're going to be doing that for a very long time. And I laughed my ass off so much yesterday when Michael was there talking to that stuffed animal or that baseball or whatever it was that was under those damn sheets. And I get it, obviously, with everything going on, they're not going to sit there and have a baby be there. Which is why when you saw Wiley, it was like a baby monitor, or like a film or whatever. So, yeah, just get used to that. Yeah. Oh, one last thing that I will sit there and say. So, one second. So in the beginning, Portia apologized to Curtis about the way Trina was behaving. And Curtis was like, well, she's grieving, and that's just part of the process. And I'm going to be honest, this whole Trina copping an attitude, being disrespectful to Curtis, I'm like, Curtis, you need to put her in her place. Because I feel like that's just bad parenting. Her just mouthing off to people whenever she wants, however she wants, because she's mad, she's upset. I get it, she's a teenager, but let's be honest for a minute. She's going to try that attitude with the wrong person one day, and she's going to be sorry. And I feel like, again, it's just one of those things like, yo, put her in her place. This isn't one of those things where it's like, respect your elders. Just respect him because he's respecting you. Also, I'm not going to lie, that it was just really getting irritating after a while. And a lot of times, whenever they go back and forth, I fast forward past it because I'm just like, I don't have the patience for that. I really don't. So yeah, that's actually going to do it for this review. I know this is kind of late and it's kind of long, so I apologize for that, but it was a lot that went on in this episode, and I don't half-ass it when I do a review or when I do any video. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this episode. Did you enjoy it? And what do you think about Dante? What do you think is going to go on? Do you think he's going to come back to Port Charles as a double agent? What's your theories about Dante in general? I'm personally happy that the actor's back. I'm not going to sit there. I had some stuff that I want to say about the actor, but I was like, you know what? I just don't feel like being mean. Well, it's not being mean. It's being sarcastic, but my sarcasm turned into being mean. So I'm just not going to do it. And I'm just happy that he's back. So, yeah. Anyway, be safe. I will catch you in the next video. Have a good weekend.